what's up, y'all? I was popping this deep box reaction to this video. This is one thing that people say in your profession that is always a lie. We about to get some inside tea. I'm excited to watch this video. I need to know what niggas is lying about. One thing in my profession that, you know, people said it's always a lie. What do YouTubers be lying about?
I'm so sorry. I'm not a racist. I didn't even understand what nigger meant. I didn't understand the history of it. I don't see color. I'm confused what's happening. I'm so sorry.
That's probably, you know, the biggest lie that I see pretty frequently in these YouTube streets. But anyway, let's see what these people are lying about. Let's watch.
What's one thing that people say in your profession that's pretty much always a lie?
They
When you go to a tattoo shop and say you want something like this or this, like you want like little tiny words, if they say it needs to be bigger because it can't be done that size, obviously they're lying because maybe they can't do it that size, but a lot of times they'll tell you it can't be done that size. When that's because to do something like this, you need a needle grouping of like a 3 liner, which would be 3 needles together, which is one of the tiniest. There's like obviously single needle, but a lot of artists don't learn how to use those because they're extremely hard to get clean lines with, and that's the tea. So if your artist says they can't do this and they need to make it this big, go somewhere else because it can't be done.
I'll be like, what? That don't make no sense. What you mean you can't do it?
What's one thing that people say in your profession that's pretty much always a lie?
So glad you asked. I'm a chiropractor.
So
how much time do you have? We have just as much training as medical doctors. You need to come in several times a week for several months. You need maintenance care. You need to buy this supplement. If we don't fix that curve, you're going to have problems. We can fix that curve. We can fix your scoliosis. You have pain because of your posture. We can cure diseases. We can prevent diseases. We put your bones back into place and change your alignment. We need to take x-rays before we start treatment and after to measure progress. Getting adjusted is just as important as going to the dentist. Getting adjusted is just as good as getting vaccinated. Your baby needs to be adjusted because being born is traumatic. Anything that has a spine needs to be adjusted. You don't need to take those medications anymore. You're in pain because you sleep incorrectly. You're in pain because you breathe incorrectly. You're in pain because you sit incorrectly. You're in pain because you move incorrectly.
Damn, y'all getting lied to.
I
need to go to a chiropractor for my case, though. I'm suing niggas right now. So.
You don't need to soften butter. It's a lie. Maybe back in the day they used softened butter because it was fresh, and then they also had fresh eggs, so everything was the same temp. The dough worked out great, but you don't need it anymore. Things need to be refrigerated, so you take your butter, you chop it up in little pieces, you mix it with your sugar for the creamy method, and then use cold eggs because your butter was cold, so your batter's gonna be cold, and your batter works out great. It's perfect. You don't need to soften butter. Only if you're like gonna mix by hand, and even then if you're gonna mix by hand for creamy method, you need to mix a little bit longer. You need to mix it for 10 to 20 minutes so you can incorporate air into the batter, and that it like actually changes color. The sugar and the butter mixture, you're not just gonna like stir it a little, no, a lot. I know what you're thinking. Oh, but my brioche dough uses softened butter. Okay, yeah, chop it up in little pieces, throw it in the mixer, let it mix. The friction is gonna heat it up, and you don't want it to overheat either because that will ruin your dough. So yeah, you're welcome.
Girl, I ain't making no dough.
What's one thing that people say in your profession that's pretty much always a lie?
I hope this counts, but I really hate it when people say that if you work in art, you'll be a starving artist, especially animation. That's not true. There's this thing called the Animation Guild, and it's basically your guardian angel. They have like this really big studio list, and all the big boy studios like Disney TV, Nickelodeon, all the good stuff, they're all a part of this union. Not every studio is a part of the union, but let's just hope one day they'll join. The union basically just makes sure you're being paid fairly, and these really long list of numbers are all minimums. So hypothetically, we work at Cartoon Network, and we're a digital animator, and in our first 6 months, this is how much you make hourly and weekly. Not every 2 weeks, this is weekly. And the longer you work somewhere, the more you'll be paid. You do have to pay union dues. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's like $115 every 3 months, but I think it's worth it for being protected. And remember, a lot of these are just minimums. This is just the base pay.
What's one thing that people say in your
People sound like haters to my, you gonna be a starving artist. Like,
oh, buddy. I'd say anytime you ask a preacher how many members are in their church, he's definitely exaggerating.
What's one thing that people say in your profession that's pretty much always a lie?
Oh, buddy, I'm about to expose a lot of professions. Here we go. All right, step one, car dealerships. They don't make hardly any money selling cars. All their money comes from the shop, meaning you come back to get service done or do you buy add-ons or shit like that. So if you want a car for a cheap price, tell them you're going to get all your work done at that dealership and they'll cut you a really good deal. To be a handyman as well. Whenever we say, oh, we just got to run to the store, they forgot to give me this one part. That's not true. We broke something and we're hoping you don't notice. Yeah, let me go check in the back for you real quick. Means we're going to go in the back and talk shit about you. Used to be an accountant as well. Whenever you see discrepancy on your account from like a place or a business or a hotel or something like that, and they tell you, oh, that's just a hold being put on there. 9 times out of 10, it is, but every now and again, somebody fucked up and they're trying to blame it on the computer system because they don't want you to get mad at them. Another one about the hotel, if you try to like check into your hotel and they tell you, oh, we accidentally double booked your room, so we had to move you to another room. I hope that's okay. Sorry.
No.
Probably did, and they probably found bed bugs in your room.
What's one thing that people say in your profession that's pretty much always a lie?
I work at a bank and there's so many lies that banks tell us. Number one, I work to serve you. No, I don't. If anything, we serve rich people, but you guys, we just use to maximize profits. Our job is to peddle as many products to you for you to buy so we can get more money out of you. Next one is the worst one. Pay attention. Free checking accounts. They're almost never free. It's either only promotional for a couple of months for new accounts, or there's a minimum balance requirement, which is always a couple of $1,000s, which most cannot afford. Or there's like hidden fees, or if you use the card too much, we're gonna charge you for it. Which brings us to something you've all heard. It's good practice to keep more money in your checkings. False. Banks just have to pay more interest on savings, which they don't want to do. So they created this line, people fell for it, and now it's a common myth. That ties together with a minimum checking account balance. That's why it's so high usually. Banks will not rest until they get every single penny out of poor people. There's so much more I could say, but let me know if you guys want a part 2. Part 2 of the lies that banks tell us from someone that works in a bank. Overdraft protection fees. They're not protecting you from anything. The fees, the prices, they're made up. It's just another way to get money out of you. Also, something really messed up that banks do is rearrange your activity from highest to lowest to get more overdraft fees out of you. Some banks are even known to withhold payment, so you have to pay that overdraft fee. Lie number 2. Our savings have the best interest rates. False. No, at most, saving accounts are like 1%, maybe 2%. If you put that money into like mutual funds, index funds, passive tradings, or even bonds, you'd make a lot more back. And there's stock apps that let you do it for the cheap. Lie number 3 is my favorite. If you choose to invest with a bank, they'll be like, oh, we have the best financial experts on board to help you. No, they don't. They will almost never beat the market. But they'll charge you for it. And those charges add up. Last lie, maintenance fees. Banks are not actually maintaining anything in your account. Let me know if you want a part 3. Part 3 of the lies that banks tell us from someone that works at a bank. Number 1, getting a new credit card improves your credit score. False. I mean, it could help if you're not in debt, or if you don't already have a credit card. But if you're already in debt, getting a new credit card is not going to do anything to improve your credit score. In fact, you're more likely to fall further in debt. Number 2, online banking is perfectly safe. Not really. I wouldn't really call this one a lie. There's no special high-tech security. It's as safe as any other website. Remember the Capital One data breach that compromised 100 million accounts?
What was this?
It was in 2019. Other ways the banks make money off us. Overseas fees? Absolutely no reason for that. ATM fees? No reason for that. Fun fact, the average ATM fee has gone up 2% since 2018. And it'll probably keep increasing because what can anyone do about it? While everyone gets poorer, the banks get richer. Last one. Just because you qualify for a credit card or a mortgage does not mean they think you can afford it. That's just the highest amount of money they think they can get out of you. Peace.
What's one thing that people say in your profession that's pretty much always a lie?
Oh, I've been waiting for this one. So when you go to pump a septic tank, you dig up the tank and you take the lid off. And most of the time, the homeowner is sitting there watching you. Now, on top of the tank, there's going to be like a crust layer. And the homeowner looks at it and goes, wow, that looks really full. And the pumper goes, yep, you're full. Time for a pump. Excuse me, motherfucker, you have no way of telling how full that is. A septic tank is always supposed to be full of water because the inlet and the outlet are at the top. You measure the actual contents based on the solids level, which you can't tell from looking at the top. You have to take a core sample with something called a sludge judge. Since pretty much no septic companies carry sludge judges, they just take the fucking money because they're there and they dug it up anyway. So yeah, when your septic guy says, oh, your tank's full, duh. So we put sludge judges on all the trucks in the company and stopped just taking people's money if we didn't need to. We've taken a serious amount of shit from other companies because we educated people.
What's one thing that people say in your profession that's pretty much always a lie?
The doctor will be with you shortly.
Oh, that's a goddamn lie.
You should probably get your phone charger out of the car. And honestly, you should have somebody else pick up your children from school because nobody's going to be there
What's one thing that people say in your profession that's pretty much always a lie?
Oh, God. Okay, I lost my voice today, so I can't talk past this volume. But I'll say this. The biggest misconception about retail is that we like small talk during a lunch rush. We don't. I lost my voice today, so I couldn't speak at work. There was a guy that came in, and he was talking to me for 15 fucking minutes about his cat named Daryl. But I could not speak to tell him to fucking leave because there's like 30 people in line. All I could do was just have a tear come out of my eye as I nod and try to whisper to him saying, "Sir, please leave."
He better than me, cause I used to be completely silent. Like I'm not about to talk to you if you talk too much. I want you to know that I don't care, so that you can go on about your business. Cause what are you talking about? I don't even know you. I'm just trying to finish my shift and go home, bruh. Leave me alone. I worked at many retail stores too. I worked at DSW. I worked at Victoria's Secret. I worked at Charlotte Russe. I've worked at H&M. Like I've seen it all, and that's just retail. We want to get into fast food. I worked at Jiffy Lube. What the fuck was I doing there, bruh? I've had too many jobs. But anyway, every time niggas tried to be on some small talk shit, like I would engage. Initially I don't want to be complete bitch. So I would engage a little bit. But if you start going on and on and on, it's like, all right, I don't care. And especially when there are customers behind them, it's like, come on. Going about your business. You feel me? They be doing too much. But this was a cool little video. Again, their inside scoop on their profession. Some of these I definitely already knew, but some of this was cool information. Y'all let me know what y'all thought. Let me know what other videos you want me to watch, and I'll see y'all on the next one.